What's up, world? I'm Cameron McKinney, and this is Pop Culture Spotlight, a podcast about the movie The Drama. Here's a quick synopsis. Charlie and Emma are prepping for their nuptials when Emma reveals a part of her past that threatens to alter their relationship forever. The film stars Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Alana Haim, Mamadou Athie, Haley Gates, Zoe Winters, and Hannah Gross. Standout performances. After Twilight, which was all about a romance, Robert Pattinson has not made a lot of movies that revolve around a relationship because it's obvious he's fighting being a movie star that relies on charm. I view him as somebody who is fully capable of playing a romantic lead in a serious movie or a romantic comedy. Here are the actresses Pattinson has had great chemistry with. The first that comes to mind is Mia Wasikowska, whom he starred in two movies, David Cronenberg's Map to the Stars and Damsel from the Zellner Brothers. The pair were in a third film, The Devil All the Time, but share no scenes. Then you have Mia Goth, Pattinson's co-star in Claire Denis' High Life. An obvious one is Zoe Kravitz and Matt Reeves as the Batman. I'm a little worried about the fact that she isn't returning for the sequel. And last year, Pattinson had tremendous chemistry with two female co-stars, Naomi Ackie in Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 and Jennifer Lawrence in Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love. The drama sees the actor paired with Zendaya, and they do in fact have chemistry, especially during the beginning when they are a somewhat ordinary couple. From the start, I was asking myself, why is Robert Pattinson playing this normal everyday guy? But after the big reveal, which I won't spoil, it all makes sense. Pattinson brilliantly plays this guy who is having a meltdown because the situation he is in is completely out of his control. I think Robert Pattinson has become my favorite actor because he surprises me in every performance that he gives. I like when an actor is predictable at times, but Pattinson is so surprising. Every movie, he's doing something completely different. I also just love the fact that he's using his fame to make movies like The Drama. I mean, this is the guy who is currently playing Batman. He could make literally any movie he wants to make, yet he wants to make films like The Drama. Let's talk about his co-star in the film. Most people would say that Zendaya's filmography is mostly known because of her work in huge franchises, Spider-Man and Dune, and I think it's about time you take notice of the work she's doing outside of them. She's given stellar performances in Sam Levinson's Malcolm and Marie, Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, and now Kristopher Borgli's The Drama. In these movies, she is playing against her own likability. I mean, you need to remember, this is a Disney Channel star. The brilliance of her portrayal of Emma in this movie is that so many people will have differing opinions about her as a human being. Zendaya's career choices right now to me are just as fascinating as Robert Pattinson's because she's using her fame from these bigger franchises, from Euphoria, from Disney Channel to work with the best filmmakers alive right now. I am really glad in the last few years she's been given opportunities to play leading characters in movies. Yes, she's in the Spider-Man movies. Yes, she's in the Dune films, but she is not the lead. That's Tom Holland. That's Timothée Chalamet. Zendaya should be the lead of more movies. I don't think this is a crazy statement, but the best of her film career is yet to come. Now's a great time to talk about Zendaya because this past weekend, the long-awaited third season of Euphoria finally had its premiere, and as you would guess, the reaction was polarizing. And what would you expect from a show like that? It has produced 3 movie stars right now in Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, and Jacob Elordi. Yes, I enjoyed Zendaya's work in the season premiere of the show. I think she is a great actress. I feel like other people are saying that Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi are checked out. I also find it really interesting that of that trio, Jacob Elordi was the first one who was nominated for an Oscar for Frankenstein. My overall thought is this: I'm fine with season 3 of Euphoria. I'm going to watch the show. I'm just thankful that those 3 are also making movies, because I think all three of them have quantifiable star power. I think people know the names Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, and Jacob Elordi. I think people watch television and movies when those three people are involved. It doesn't mean that everything they're in is going to be a massive hit. I mean, Sydney Sweeney has been in a few movies recently that nobody paid attention to, but then every once in a while she's in something like The Housemaid that definitely benefits from the fact that she's in it. I think in a way all three of them are above a third season of Euphoria, but here we are, they're all in it. I'm going to watch the show, I'm probably going to enjoy it, and no matter how I end up ultimately feeling about the third season of Euphoria, it will never take away the first two seasons of the show, where Zendaya did some of the best television acting I have ever seen. I saw her on the Disney Channel, but Euphoria was really the place where I watched her and went, I am watching one of the best actresses of her generation. And thankfully, she was rewarded for that show, winning 2 Emmy Awards. Maybe the craziest thing about the drama is it's one of 3 2026 movies that will have both Robert Pattinson and Zendaya in them, the other two being Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 3. And that gets us to an interesting discussion about whether or not an actor can truly be overexposed. Now, I truthfully do not feel that way about Robert Pattinson or Zendaya. They are two of my favorite actors. But if I weren't huge fans of them, maybe I would be questioning the fact that they seem to be in every big movie in the year 2026. I know people feel that way about certain actors. I've heard people say it about Austin Butler. Why is he all of a sudden in everything? People are definitely saying it about Jacob Elordi as well, Sydney Sweeney. I mean, these are the people that are famous right now, and the internet makes it so that we know everybody's opinion about everyone casted in a movie. In the 90s, when they put Brad Pitt in everything, nobody was loud and obnoxious about it because nobody was commenting on it online. 2026 is a massive year for both of these actors. Robert Pattinson is working with Christopher Nolan again and working with Denis Villeneuve for the first time. And for Zendaya, it's the opposite. It's the third time she's working with Denis Villeneuve and the first time she's working with Christopher Nolan. I mean, how can you not be hyped about Pattinson working with Nolan again after Tenet? I mean, he was the absolute best thing about that movie. And as for Zendaya's involvement in The Odyssey, you have Tom Holland in it as well, so they're going to be paired once again. I feel like most people are on board with these two being in two of the biggest movies of the year, but I don't know. I could understand somebody saying there's too much Robert Pattinson in my movies right now, there's too much Zendaya. I'm just not on board with that, and am super hyped to see them in these two massive event films. And then when it comes to Pattinson, at some point we're going to get that long-awaited sequel to The Batman. Scarlett Johansson is in it. Sebastian Stan is in it. The fact that Pattinson is Batman and is willing to play supporting roles in The Odyssey and Dune Part 3 is why he's the coolest actor in the world right now, in my humble opinion. He clearly does not care about the size of the roles he plays. He just wants to be in as many good movies as humanly possible. The writer-director of the drama is none other than Kristopher Borgli, who with his last 2 films, Dream Scenario starring Nick Cage, and The Drama, that do not feel like everyday movies, and I mean that in the highest compliment. It feels like we are watching the rise of a new voice in movies. You watch his films, and they are hard to compare to other movies. Both of them have these weird comedic tones to them, especially Dream Scenario. I really enjoyed that film, especially the scenes between Nick Cage and Michael Cera. It's also worth mentioning that both of these films, Dream Scenario and The Drama, are produced by writer-director Ari Aster. I mean, Kristopher Borgli feels in connection with the works of Ari Aster. You can see why Aster likes this guy as a filmmaker. You could definitely do a back-to-back feature of Dream Scenario and Beau is Afraid. I mean, what Nick Cage is doing in Dream Scenario feels similar to what Joaquin Phoenix is doing in Beau is Afraid. I do not want to spoil the drama in any way. What I will say is I like this movie because just how ambitious it is. It's a movie commenting on a hot-button social issue through the lens of this couple, but even more impressive than that is the execution. A movie like this could be shock value, but the drama avoids being that. It's a movie that's going to get you to think about it in the days and weeks to come. It's also not a movie that tells you how to feel about its main characters. Like, it's not telling you how to feel about Zendaya's Emma or Robert Pattinson's Charlie. It is letting you form your own opinion. It is making you feel like there is no right or wrong response to what is going on in the movie. The director is not inserting himself into the film. You do not feel like he prefers one character over the other. Now, I would argue that I think Robert Pattinson is given more to do as an actor, but I don't walk away from the movie thinking that Borgli prefers this character of Charlie over Emma. I just think it has more to do with the fact that Robert Pattinson is the one who is going through a crucial decision in his relationship because he's learning new information about his fiancée. The drama is also more than just an ideas movie. Like, it's not a director just giving you all of his opinions about a subject. These characters feel like real human beings, not just avatars, which definitely happens from time to time with a movie like this. Maybe brave is the wrong term for it, but I do believe there's some courage in making a movie like this that is bound to get a strong reaction to it. There are way too many movies in the year 2026 playing it safe. There are movies that just feel like movies you've seen before because there are so many movies that are afraid to say anything about anything. The film is effective without being preachy, without ever feeling cringy. And throughout it, you are thinking, what would I do if I were in this situation? It's almost impossible to feel like the characters are making the wrong choices because it is the most extreme example of a situation. And sometimes that can bother me because it feels like sometimes when you're watching a movie where characters are put in extreme situations, they can end up being emotionally manipulative. That is not what is happening with the drama. In fact, I think the opposite is happening. I think Borgli is really playing this movie for realism. He is trying to show you what could actually happen to a relationship if something like this is revealed about the other person. This is not a movie that's over the top. It's not overly theatrical. Yes, Robert Pattinson really goes through something in one crucial scene, but that is not the entire movie. Just about every element of this film, the drama works. The performances, the big reveal, which again, I will not spoil, the structure of the movie. I also really felt that the ending was super cathartic. Box office. As of this recording, the drama has made $43 million, which is impressive for a movie that is mostly people talking in rooms. Obviously, the film's success has a lot to do with the star power of Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. Not only is this a movie that people are seeing, but people also have opinions about it, both good and bad. And by the way, that is a good thing. It is a good thing that there are people out there that do not care about this movie. I think that shows just how effective it is. It makes you have an opinion about it. I think there are way too many films that you just watch and you go, yeah, I have really nothing to say about that. It is impossible to watch the drama and go, yeah, that meant nothing to me. No, you're going to have a strong reaction to this movie, and that is the point, whether that's a good reaction, a bad reaction, and any reaction in between. It is going to make you feel something. The marketing for this movie was also beyond effective. There was mystery around it. All I knew was that it starred Robert Pattinson and Zendaya as a couple who were about to get married. That is all I knew. The big reveal was not revealed, and that mystery is what in part made me want to see this movie. Too many movies show you what they are before you see them. There seems to be an odd idea out there that for a movie to be culturally relevant, it needs to make $1 billion. No, not every movie needs to be a massive hit. I think for a movie to be culturally relevant, there needs to be discussions after you see it. You see people talking about it. The drama is a movie that people are talking about afterwards. They have actual thoughts and opinions about the film. That is what keeps a movie culturally relevant, not the fact that it made $1 billion. The fact that people cared about it enough to talk about it after seeing it. And Zendaya has been in a few of those recently. I felt the same way about Challengers. I know for some people it's not the big hit they thought it was going to be, but people are still talking about the movie Challengers, and people have strong opinions, both positive and negative, about that film. And having those kinds of movies are what turns somebody into a movie star. Yes, Harrison Ford had Star Wars and Indiana Jones, but he also had Blade Runner, a movie that is now recognized as a masterpiece, but at the time was misunderstood. It was not a massive hit, but it is a movie that is talked about just as much as we talk about Indiana Jones and Star Wars. So yes, in the moment, we might be talking more about Zendaya's work in the Dune films and Spider-Man movies, but along the way, the drama might be thought of as those kinds of movies, at least in the cultural consensus. It may end up being a movie we talk about just as much as we talk about those films. The same goes for Robert Pattinson. People talk about Good Time just as much as they talk about The Batman, a movie that made way more money than Good Time. It's about the quality of the film, and it's about the cultural conversations surrounding the movie. There are so many, and I mean so many movies that have made $1 billion that are no longer culturally relevant. And I think for actors, it is more important to be in movies that are culturally relevant than to be in massive, massive hits. At the end of the day, the drama is one of those rare movies you want to walk into knowing as little as possible. All you need to know is that it stars Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. You've seen their movies. I've assumed you've enjoyed their work in the past. You are in the right hands. I think you are going to walk away from the drama liking it. I think most people have walked away from this movie enjoying it. And my final thought about the film is I do think it is a movie that will benefit from the fact of somebody watching it over and over again. I think there is something to gain after you know the big reveal. I have only seen this movie once. I definitely want to watch it a second time because I'm sure I will have different opinions about the film. I don't know how many scenes Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are going to share in Dune Part 3 or The Odyssey, but the drama definitely has me excited about the fact that these two actors have 2 more films coming out together in 2026. I know a lot of you feel like we live in a world without movie stars. I am telling you, we are watching 2 movie stars on the rise in Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. They are doing excellent work in big blockbuster movies while also doing great work in smaller indie indie films with great ideas and brilliant filmmakers. And everything is working out for them because they are making the right career choices. And Dream Scenario and the drama have fully sold me on the fact that Kristopher Borgli is a writer-director to pay attention to. He is a guy I now want my favorite actors to work with. Thanks for listening to this edition of Pop Culture Spotlight. I'm Cameron McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Thursday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I highly recommend you check out the drama. Next week on the podcast, I'm talking about Gore Verbinski's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, starring Sam Rockwell, Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Pena, Zazie Betts, and Juno Temple. So tune in to that, and please rate, review, and subscribe.